Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have a big one. Today we have another statement from Bricks and Minifigs here regarding the Salem, Oregon situation. This one, it's huge. They parted ways with both of the current owners of the Salem, Oregon store, Brandon Best and Joshua Johnson. And I don't know. I think this is the first of many dominoes to fall. I think this is a very good sign, particularly for Brian. I don't think this will really affect Ben's case and all that he has against Bricks and Minifigs. But I think for Brian, when it comes to the main goal of this, of him getting his sets back or being paid, I think this is pretty big. Because, I mean, I have the statement here. I haven't read it yet. I'm going to read through it here with you guys. I personally, just based off the title, am assuming that they uncovered some sort of wrongdoing with these guys, and that is probably pretty good news for Brian. So, first off, really appreciate all the support on the recent videos. Make sure you guys leave a like down below, comment your thoughts on this once we are done reading it, and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to pass the American Forklift Police Department its subscribers, so let's make that happen. Been gaining a lot recently, and I do really appreciate it. So thank you guys. But let's get right into the statement here. It's titled Bricks and Minifigs Parts Way with Salem, Oregon franchise owners Brandon Best and Joshua Johnson. I'll probably try and have this on the screen somewhere. It might be a little bit more scuffed than the last statement I read on that behalf, because the last one, it was literally just panels, and I could just save the panel, put the panel up here. This one, I'll probably have to screenshot it, cut it up, all that. So I'll try to have it on the screen somewhere here, but for now, let's just get to reading. So it says, evidence of negligence uncovered. Brian Manzel and Crystal Law/Gorman jointly valued Lego collection at $95,000 to $100,000 relating to their unauthorized consignment arrangement. Corporate takes action and reaches out directly to Brian Manzel again for informal resolution. So it says evidence of negligence uncovered right there. So, but from the sound of it, it sounds like they're still trying to pin this on the previous owners. So I think it might be that it might be like a good thing that happens for the wrong reason. That's at least what I'm getting from this first paragraph here. Uh, Salt Lake City, Utah, June 4th, 2026. Bricks and Minifigs, an authorized Lego reseller specializing in buying, trading, and selling Lego products, today announced the permanent closure of its Salem, Oregon store, as well as a mutual agreement to part ways with franchise owners Brandon Best and Joshua Johnson due to a devastating social media campaign. While fact investigation continues, BAM's current state of its investigation has uncovered significant evidence of gross negligence and how the store was previously operated by the prior owner, as well as operational gaps during the transition and the subsequent management of document recovery. More importantly, BAM leadership has personally reached out to Brian Manzel and family to meet, to review documentation revealed in the investigation, and to come to mutual and positive resolution. So, I mean, that's pretty much just admitting what we already knew, to be honest with you. It's pretty clear there was a lot of negligence there and misunderstandings, probably on both sides, if we're being real. I don't believe this is all on Josh and Brandon. I'm sure Crystal had some mistakes in there. Obviously, most, like, I'd say it's probably like 90-10 blame, but like, I'm sure there was some things that weren't exactly clear as the store was passed on, but that's not her fault. She had the rug swept out from under her. But like, I don't know, this whole thing, it's just a mess. I think that's one thing we can all agree on. And yeah, it's not great. And hopefully, hopefully this is some good news with the rest of this here. The findings are directly related to the ongoing situation involving collector Brian Manzel, whose father's Star Wars Lego collection was part of an unauthorized and private consignment side deal in the Salem location that predated Brandon and Josh's ownership of the store. They are still doubling and tripling down on this whole unauthorized consignment thing. They don't allow it, yada, yada, yada. Legal Eagle made a video on this. If you guys want to watch that, it's a pretty well done video where he looked at the franchise agreement, and it says in there as well, which I believe he probably got a different copy of it. I doubt he was just using Crystal's screenshot that Ben had. It says in there as well multiple times that consignments are allowed. So these guys are just clowns at this point for continuing to deny this. That's ridiculous to me. We've been asking for documentation for a long time. We'd asked Mr. Manzel and others and did not receive enough to give us a clear picture until recently, thanks to internal and external operations assistants and those who continue to stand with us, and we finally have enough to proceed with a resolution. Like what, the three people still standing with you? What, like your wife and your parents? And now that we do, Brian, we continue our offer to sit down with you and are prepared to discuss dropping the lawsuit against you, which, by the way, it is ridiculous that they are suing Brian. That is ridiculous to me. Like, Ben, I kind of get it. Like from their point of view, if you're looking at this from their perspective, I understand. I am 100% on Ben's side and Brian's side and all this, but like for Bricks and Minifigs to have a case against Ben, if I'm trying to view it from their perspective, I understand. I don't. What is their case against Brian? What, he called the store a few times? Ooh, scary. Let's go through the spreadsheets and POS data together and ensure you are made whole monetarily and ensure that whatever Star Wars Lego was or remains in the Salem store, whether you identify it as yours or not, you can have it. We will ensure you are compensated for anything unaccounted for, including what Miss Law slash Gorman failed to compensate you for without your knowledge. We are ready when you are. Still blaming it on her, even though, like, like I said, could she have probably been more clear with this consignment agreement? There's some sort of form that I believe you're supposed to fill out with a consignment agreement. I watched it in one of the lawyer videos I've watched recently, and he mentioned some form. I don't remember, fancy legal talk, but it's like a $20 form, and it pretty much covers you against any of this. They probably should have done that, but like, let's be real, you can't really blame them for that. Like, it's not either their fault that the store got seized. Like, stop trying to blame the previous owners. Like, this is pretty much all on you guys. The investigation also produced new documentation that dramatically challenges the speculative social media narrative around the Manziel collection. Evidence shows there were 3 sets of books being managed by the previous owner, Miss Law slash Gorman, regarding the collection, all with different accounts of what was sold and more reliable high-end market values for the entire collection, which is more accurately estimated at $95,000 to $100,000, consistent with what Brian himself stated publicly on the Collecting Weekly podcast in April 2025, and consistent with the $80,000 in products and or cash he sought when he visited the store on or around November 21st, 2024. Additionally, a review of POS data between September 2023 and November 2024, during the time Ms. Law slash Gorman confirmed she was exclusively storing and managing and presumably insuring Mr. Manziel's collection under the undisclosed side agreement, a signed copy of which BAM still does not have, is currently underway. I mean, there's no way they don't have a copy of the consignment agreement. Like, I refuse to believe that. That has to be a lie. But the $95,000 to $100,000 number, I do believe is accurate. I remember hearing that. I believe it was a Duck Bricks video was the first time I'd heard that. And from what I've seen floating around online, the true like value of the collection, if you take like Bricklink values or whatever, is around that $95,000 to $100,000 range. I believe the $200,000 was like, yeah, if we really milk every dollar out of this Bricks and Minifigs, we get $200,000 for it. But obviously that's not the case, which it's still crazy to me, dude. Like, you could have just done this the right way, sold the collection. It was basically a 1/3, 2/3 split. You would have made like $66,000 and moved on with your life. But instead, your company is now going to hell. Like, it's just crazy to me, dude. Like, they could have just wiped their hands of this, just done it the right way, or at the very least, after the store got exchanged over or taken away, I guess is the more accurate way of saying it, just pay the man. Like, this is literally a fraction of a fraction of what you make every month. Not even in a year, every month. And they're not just like, yeah, we maybe should keep our reputation. We value our reputation more than like probably what they collect in franchise royalties in a week. Like, it's just so crazy to me, man. The $200,000 figure circulated publicly by Manziel on his personal Facebook page and Mrs. Law slash Gorman on the Salem, Oregon Facebook page in 2023 was never a documented value, simply the promotional value they used to bring excitement for the public viewing in November 2023, an event in which Ed Manziel, father Brian Manziel, was also documented by both parties as present. I mean, yeah, I mean, that is true. I believe it was an exaggerated number. Like, nothing too much to nitpick there. Due to our commitment to a heightened level of due diligence in our investigation and lack of formal documentation produced by Mr. Manziel and the former franchisee Ms. Law slash Gorman, we have found critical data including 3 separate Star Wars lot spreadsheets. These included an unknown but accessible email account maintained by Ms. Law slash Gorman. Not that important, but why do they keep going back between Miss and Mrs.? I don't know if that's like, did she get married in the middle of this, or is it just a typo? Like, this feels very poorly written. Um, These included an unknown but accessible email account maintained by Miss Law/Gorman. This evidence confirmed the new incoming franchisees who took over the location were not aware of nor prepared for the responsibilities of taking over a store from a forensic accounting review standpoint. This led to due diligence issues and coming to resolution with Mr. Manziel, said Matt McNeff, COO, Bricks and Minifigs. First and ex-franchisees still had connections to, and in one instance, ownership of company marked data through a personal email account. When a collector came in, identified himself and what he believed to be a formal, albeit undisclosed, relationship with a former franchisee, it is unfortunate that Miss Law Gorman was not upfront about it. We are disappointed this situation was not made explicitly clear. That should have happened much sooner than today. That's not acceptable, and we're not going to pretend otherwise. I thought for a second that was them taking accountability, but it sounds like they're still just throwing it at Crystal there. It's so pathetic. Like, these guys have got to go. Like, now that Brandon and Josh are gone, these guys are next. Like, Brandon and Josh were like 1A, these guys are 1B. Like, they're not far behind, I don't believe. I really, really think they gotta go. I do not plan on stepping foot in one of these stores ever again. I will not if these guys are still in charge of corporate. If they go, there's like a chance I will. I probably will if they go, if it's like a completely different office there. But like, if these guys are in charge, never again, man. Never again. Crystal Law/Gorman entered directly into an unauthorized consignment agreement with Mr. Manziel. It's not unauthorized. You specifically allow it in your franchise agreement. Like, you're just lying over and over again. It's crazy. Yet never made a formal introduction between BAM Corporate nor the new incoming franchisees. As we now know, Miss Law/Gorman's hidden personal bookkeeping version, the separate version she shared with Brian Manziel, and a separate running list of sold items were all overseen by Miss Law/Gorman and show significant discrepancies between what she publicly paid Manziel versus what the trackers included. Our internal point of sale data shows more than $52,000 and potentially more was sold from the collection during her tenure, which is significantly more than was reported by Miss Law/Gorman. Now, I mean, if that's true, that's a bad look on her, but I don't think it's all her. I'll be real. Crystal Law/Gorman was never authorized to enter into a consignment agreement with Mr. Manziel through the franchise and never introduced Mr. Manziel to BAM or the new incoming franchisees. I mean, that's not really her responsibility, but whatever. I mean, you're the ones taking over the store. If she doesn't own the store anymore, she doesn't owe you anything. So that's just the way it is. BAM has offered the physical inventory to Mr. Manziel multiple times, most recently in December 2025, and again personally by Emmett McNeff in May 2026. Yeah, $2,000 to $5,000, wasn't it? I think that was the number, $2,000 to $5,000, $2,000 to $6,000, whatever it was. Crystal Law/Gorman created an unauthorized personal consignment contract with Brian Manziel in November 2023 and failed to make corporate aware, given firm language in operations manual and training. BAM is strictly buy-sell trade. Again, not true. It is documented that Crystal Law/Gorman on November 8th, 2024, formally shared with BAM Corporate that she did not intend to carry on a franchisee due to the store's struggles and a job offer her partner Benjamin Gorman had received out of the country. As far as I know, that's all true. Crystal Law/Gorman owed close to $200,000 at time of planned abandonment separation, causing her to be undue any payment on the date of separation. I mean, yeah, I have heard that she was in debt to BAM, which is part of the reason they probably seized the store, which, like, that doesn't, that only really helps their look on the seizure of the store, not on this situation at all. It's still a really bad look with this Lego collection, but it's a slightly less bad look on the store seizure part, because it's like, yeah, they owed you 200 grand. Like, kind of makes sense. A GoFundMe account for Brian Manziel, which you tried to take down and threatened him with the police, by the way, has raised over $350,000 as of June 3rd, 2026. That's great. That has nothing to do with you. You still owe him money. If I go pay Brian $100,000, that doesn't mean Bricks and Minifigs doesn't still owe him $100,000. That's not just how that works. Like, why include that? Are you trying to make yourself like look like less of a bad guy? I don't understand that. But yeah, that's all for that article. Like I said, I think this might be good news for Brian. They barely mentioned, if at all, I don't believe they mentioned Ben in that article. I believe they just mentioned something about a social media campaign, which like is alluding to him obviously, but they didn't mention him by name. And like I said, I do believe this is good for Brian because I believe that they probably found some sort of wrongdoing on the part of Brandon and Josh. And I hope that is the case because it's very, very, very clear, especially if you watched my past couple videos, which was more on the legal side of things than the Lego side of things. They're very, very awful human beings. And I hope that something was found against them in this. And I just hope it all comes crumbling down soon. Like I said, I think this is the first domino to fall. And if they're getting let go, I think the next couple weeks are going to be pretty crazy on this because I think we might see a lot of new information from these Bricks and Minifigs people. Now, I know Ben is planning on releasing his part 3, which he said is wild. He said they were trying to get him on felonies and all that, so hopefully that video is pretty good. But we still got a few more videos from him supposedly, and yeah, hopefully we'll get a resolution to this whole case soon. I think that's all for now. I do, like I said at the beginning, appreciate all the support. If you're still here, I do really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you leave a like on the video if you did enjoy. Comment down below your thoughts on Bricks and Minifigs, letting go of these guys, and subscribe to the channel. I do really appreciate it. Maybe we can get to 500 soon because I know I just recently passed 400. Let's try to get to 500 and then I'll try to do something special when I eventually get to 1,000. But I don't know exactly what I want to do yet, but I'll make sure I thank you guys very generously. Yeah, that's all for now. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Bye.